What's up, guys? Jordan here from Show Me Vegas, and tonight I'm staying there. Yeah, the Dirty Castle. But is it really the Dirty Castle, or is it actually a decent budget option on the Strip that's just kind of, I don't know, misunderstood? Let's go find out. Alright, I'm all checked into my room here at Excalibur, and I've got to say that now that the cyber attack is hopefully completely in the past and the app is back up, the MGM Rewards app on your phone is an absolutely awesome tool if you're staying at one of their properties. I pre-checked into this reservation before I ever left home, and by the time I got to the airport this afternoon, I already had a notification on my phone saying my room was ready and I had a digital key. So when I got here to Excalibur, I got to just skip the front desk altogether and come straight to my room. The key already worked. By the way, it was before 2 p.m. and I didn't have to pay any kind of early check-in fee, so eat your heart out, Caesars Entertainment. As for this room itself, it's basic. We'll go through a little room tour later on, but for now I want to get downstairs and see if there's anything different. Ashton and I have actually been at this property quite a bit, but we've never stayed here. We spent quite a bit of time in the casino and kind of exploring around, but now that I'm actually a guest, is this place going to look any different to me? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go downstairs and check it out. As soon as you come into Excalibur, you find the heavy medieval theming. It's actually kind of been toned down around the property, but how much can you really tone down a castle? Anyway, right inside the main entrance is the Sword and the Stone bar right behind me. There's a convenience store over this way, and the hotel lobby is to your left. The center of this casino floor looks very different than it used to. That's because they have it all walled off right here in the middle. Coming soon, the center bar at Excalibur. This cuts right into the middle of where the table games used to be, and you used to be able to see all the way down through the middle of this. Not right now, but I hadn't heard anything about this. I'm kind of excited to see it. The casino is busy here for a Monday. If you're wondering about table games, they're found right in the center of the casino. They used to be right in the middle here where they're putting in this brand new center bar. Now they just kind of circle it. I did a flyby here on Monday evening, and $15 was the norm. Blackjack, roulette, 3-card poker, craps, all of them were $15. I thought that occasionally it gets a little bit lower than that, and it might during the day, but $15 is the minimum you're going to find at any table game here at Excalibur on this night. If slots are more your thing, of course you're going to be in luck here too. They've got a lot of slots on this casino floor, and they're pretty tightly packed. Again, very busy on a Monday night. I will say it does seem like they've gone away from the old school real style slot machines in favor of the newer, flashier ones. But you are going to find all of the newer games, and I will say our luck at this casino has always been slightly better than the other casinos on the Strip. No, don't get me wrong, we don't win here, but we do lose a little slower here. The sports book here at Excalibur can be found just inside the west entrance by the Starbucks. It's actually a pretty decent little sports book. I shouldn't say little, it's pretty good size. There's quite a few screens to watch sports on and quite a bit of seating. Now, sit-down dining at Excalibur is in kind of short supply, but this is one of your options, Dick's Last Resort. If you're not familiar with this chain of restaurants, this is where they insult you, make fun of you, and otherwise just treat you badly. I wonder if they'll treat me nicer because I'm alone. One other thing I forgot to mention, no, I haven't had any experience with it yet tonight because I haven't played yet. However, I have seen a lot of cocktail servers on the casino floor. Seems like they're well staffed, so we'll see how that goes when I do get around to playing. When it comes to food courts, and I don't mean food halls, I mean food courts, like the one you had at the mall when you were a kid, Excalibur has one of the best. They've got it all here from Cinnabon to Krispy Kreme, hot dog on a stick, fat burger, Popeyes,
Everything you could want if you're hungry for a quick bite and don't want to spend a fortune. This food hall is a pretty good place. Up here by the food court right behind me, this used to be the steakhouse at Camelot. That closed whenever COVID hit back in 2020 and it never reopened. So Excalibur does not have a fine dining restaurant or a steakhouse anymore. Next to the buffet, you're going to find the Thunderland Theater. That's where the Thunder from Down Under performs, also the Australian Bee Gees and Mac King Comedy.
All right, now it's time for the room tour, and I usually do a room tour, but in this case, it's not really worthy of a tour. A little bit small, not the nicest in the world, but I'll show you around anyway. This is a Royal Tower King here at Excalibur. It's room 28174. This is the top floor of Excalibur. It's 28 stories tall. 174 is at the extreme end of the hall, so this is as far as you can walk from the elevators to get to your room. As far as the room itself, pretty basic. I'm sitting at a pretty nice desk. There is actually a pretty good sized desk in the corner of this room. One chair here at the desk, and then there's actually a reading chair behind me. And actually this furniture is in pretty good condition. It's not stained, it's not torn. It's beat up a little bit on the legs, but you're going to find that in any hotel room, especially in Vegas. And the room overall is in pretty decent condition. Over here, the one king bed, nice crisp white bedding, 4 pillows. The bed actually seems pretty comfortable. I've only sat on it so far. I'll have to let you know in the morning how it sleeps. At the foot of the bed, a pretty big dresser. It's got 6 dresser drawers and a compartment that's made for a fridge, but of course, this is an MGM property, so there is no fridge in there. That TV it's a little bit on the small side, if you can't tell from this. This angle's probably making it look even smaller.
That's what she said. Or he said.
And I know not many of you are coming to Vegas to watch TV, but I gotta say the reception is absolutely awful. It's been like since the 90s since I saw reception that bad. Think I'm kidding? Check this out. The bathroom is alright. It's a pretty decent size. There's a single sink vanity, but it is really big. The toilet is actually quite a ways away from the vanity, so you're not getting in somebody's way if you're there while they're trying to get ready. And you've got a walk-in shower over here in the corner. Actually really clean. As you might imagine, I checked this room out top to bottom for cleanliness, and actually I was pretty pleased. I'd give it actually about an 8, 8.5 on the cleanliness scale. And in the bathroom, I did find a couple of hairs, which was pretty gross, but they were stuck to the base of the toilet. It's as if maybe they got caught up in the mop while it was being mopped. Not that big a deal. The floors in the room are the only thing that aren't spotlessly clean, although I will say the carpet in this room doesn't look like it's very old at all. It's not stained, it's not sticky, it's actually quite surprisingly clean. Alright, there's your room tour. This room is not that bad. As a matter of fact, this is miles better than the room I saw in the Resort Tower a little over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. The Royal Tower here, which I'm in, is the more recently remodeled of the two, and this room is far better. So, if you have a choice between the two, and they are just a few dollars different, they're not that much, choose the Royal Tower over the Resort Tower. Don't even hesitate. Alright, it's getting to be evening here at Excalibur, and I'm going to go downstairs and do something I've kind of wanted to always do, but didn't think I ever would. I'm going to go see Tournament of Kings. If you're not familiar with Tournament of Kings, it's the medieval show here at Excalibur. It's got horses, jousting, lots of action, and it comes with dinner. So I'm going to go check that out, maybe do a little gambling, and I'll probably check back in with you guys in the morning. Alright, good morning guys from Excalibur. Slept pretty well last night. The bed is not bad. I'd give it 3.5 stars out of 5. The sheets are great. It was actually really quiet in here last night. I almost heard no noise from the hallway whatsoever. But let's talk a little bit about the show. I mentioned I was going to Tournament of Kings last night, but I don't think I mentioned that it's a dinner show, and that's one of the reasons I picked it. I was looking for something to eat, and I was looking for some entertainment, so I decided to combine the two. I gotta be honest, I was pretty disappointed. The food was, I would say, pretty terrible. You eat it with your hands, and that's not a big deal, but it was a rotisserie chicken, a hard piece of bread, some corn, straight out of the freezer. Almost none of it was seasoned, and it was just pretty poor. The show itself, I didn't love it. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think it was very easy to follow. I didn't think it was very entertaining, at least for adults. So if you're an adult going to a show here at Excalibur, I would probably pick one of their others. Although, I will say, if you have kids and you're taking kids to the show, Tournament of Kings might be a pretty good option because I think that's going to keep them pretty entertained. Alright, I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning thanks to that central time zone body clock, and I'm looking for some breakfast. I've done my research. I figured out which restaurants here on property serve a sit-down breakfast and picked one of those. It's actually pretty unassuming. You probably didn't even know this place serves breakfast. I didn't. So let's go downstairs, get something to eat. I did mention my room is all the way at the end of the hall. Doesn't seem like that big a deal until you pace it out. 90 paces to my door, nearly the length of a football field from the elevators to my room.
Well, so much for that. I was going to eat breakfast here at Dick's Last Resort. The website said they were open at 8. Their signage down here says 10 one place, 11 o'clock another place. Hey, good news, they do serve breakfast, but not for another couple hours. Looks like I'm going to have to go to Plan B. You probably were already aware, but Excalibur does have the tram system that runs between Excalibur, Luxor, and Mandalay Bay. There's an express that goes all the way to Mandalay Bay without stopping, and the other line does stop at Luxor. My advice, however, if you are just going to Luxor, just use the interior connected walkway. It's faster. Walking through the casino, I did notice $10 blackjack this morning. It's Tuesday morning. Last night on Monday night, by the time I got around to playing, the minimum was $20, which is kind of unusual. Normally you see 15 or 25, but here it was 20. So as you can see, Plan B turned into the buffet. Now, the buffet here is not terrible. It's only brunch. I've actually eaten this before, and I made a video about it. I'm going to drop that link in the description down below. But today, maybe I'll give you a little bit of a brief overview of it. $28.99 here on a weekday, $31.99 on the weekends. I hadn't planned on doing a buffet for breakfast, but hey, Johnny Rockets probably would have cost me $20 anyway. And for a few bucks more, at least here, it's all you can eat. Well, that was a little bit disappointing, to tell you the truth. I think the quality was fair. I do think, though, that the selection was not nearly as good as the last time I had that buffet. Not sure that's worth $28.99, although that's not keeping people away. Super busy as I walk away here at 9 o'clock. All right, I got a little bit of free play with my reservation. I'm going to go downstairs, see if I can turn that into a little bit of money. Not going to hold my breath on that one.
Alright, back in the room. It's almost 10 o'clock, so there's only about an hour until checkout time, so it's time to go over the pros and cons of staying here at Excalibur. Alright, pro number 1, and this is the most obvious, this place is extremely budget friendly. This is the cheapest hotel in the MGM portfolio, and that means it's the easiest to get comped at. As a matter of fact, we can get comped here pretty much any time we want. This particular stay was fully comped, and we're MGM Gold, so we don't pay the resort fee either. Also, we had about $15 worth of free play and $50 in resort credit on top of that. So almost like they were paying me to stay here last night. Those comps are not hard to get. If you gamble much at all, you're going to start seeing offers from this hotel. But even if you're paying to stay at Excalibur, it's only going to cost you during the week anywhere from $25 to maybe $40 a night. Here's a look at the rate calendar. It is extremely cheap during the week. Some of those weekend nights get a little bit expensive, and for that, I wouldn't pay that price to stay here. But $25 on a Monday night plus a $35 resort fee, $60 plus tax, that is about as cheap as you're going to find anywhere in Las Vegas these days. On top of the affordable room rate, everything here at the hotel for Vegas is actually pretty affordable. There's a food court that has a lot of options. There are no expensive restaurants here, and the attractions are actually pretty cheap too. You can have fun down in the fun dungeon for pretty cheap. The shows aren't very expensive. So overall, top to bottom, room, food, and attractions all here at Excalibur, very budget friendly. Pro number 2, this hotel is actually quite a bit of fun. The hotel has a good energy. The gaming floor last night on a Monday night was very busy. There's a lot of things to do, and it just has an overall fun vibe. Okay, let's talk about the cons. I mean, I think if you know what this property is coming into it, it's kind of hard to call these cons because you should know about them already. But number 1, this is not a nice hotel. This room is okay. It's not what I would call nice. It's at least clean, but there are no frills here. This is as basic a hotel room as you're going to find in Las Vegas. It's just a basic motel room. It is a little worn out. Wallpaper is peeling in places, especially in the hallways and the public areas. The artwork on the walls here is kind of falling apart. The furniture is a little beat up, but not too bad. It's just a little bit tired, and I think that's to be expected when you pay this price. I will say it was remarkably clean. Con number 2, I think, is that this place is a mixed bag. I mentioned the resort tower that we toured last time we were here was not nearly as nice as this one, and yet I actually looked it up, and those rooms go for a few dollars more than the Royal Tower. The Royal Tower was renovated in 2016, the Resort Tower all the way back in 2008 or so, and this tower is far nicer, at least in my experience, than that other tower. That tower, what I experienced over there, is where the Dirty Castle nickname came from. This one, I wouldn't call it that at all. This has actually been pretty clean. That just goes to show that there's some serious inconsistency here at the property. You might get a nice room here, you might get an absolutely terrible room. Believe me, I've seen the other YouTube videos and some of the rooms look absolutely awful. So is that something you're willing to risk with your vacation? Well, that's up to you. Con number 3 is just that there's no wow factor here whatsoever. There's no Vegas glamour, there's nothing to brag about. If you're like us, when you go on vacation, especially to Las Vegas, you want to experience at least a little bit of luxury, and you're not going to find any of it here. If you want a nightclub, you're going to have to go off the property. If you want to go to a swanky cocktail lounge, you're going to have to go off property. If you want to have a fine dining experience, guess what? You're going to have to go off property. I think that probably is to be expected at this price point, but I think it also needs to be said. All that said, what's the verdict? Is Excalibur really the Dirty Castle, or is it just a decent budget option? I'm going to have to go with the latter. I didn't find any problems here whatsoever. I'm definitely not saying you should stay here, but I am saying if you were already considering it and this is in your price point, you'll probably be okay. And in case you're wondering, no, they did not pay me to say that. What we always try to do here on Show Me Vegas is present you with the authentic experience that we had. If our stay is great, we'll tell you that. If our stay is terrible, we'll definitely tell you that. And if it's just kind of okay, like this stay was, we're going to tell you that as well. Hey, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks, as always, for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. We'll see you in that next video because there's always more for us to show you on Show Me Vegas.